talk about the TV show MASH. Right, the one with Alan Alda and Harry Morgan and all these guys playing the part of doctors, nurses, orderlies, working in a mobile field hospital during the Korean War. Well, a lot of folks love MASH. They love the series because MASH ran for over 11 years. Dudes, 11 years for a TV series? You're watching everybody on the show go gray. Well, a lot of folks fell in love with the show, and it seems that every character has his or her own fans out there in the world of MASH fandom. Well, a Max Allen survey of 500 MASH fans that was a mixed batch of race and age showed just which of the characters is most beloved or reviled as this series has ground on. A lot of these opinions really sharpened as Alan Alda took over control of the show during the last 3 seasons. The last 4 seasons. He began writing, directing. He pretty much owned the show. Many people call it the Alan Alda Show. Well, nevertheless, we've come up with who was most loved, who's least loved, and a distillation of the reasons why. So, without further ado, drum roll please. Let's jump into this pool and see how many readers, listeners, we can piss off with our analysis. Okay. Number 1. I'm going to go backwards. I'm not going to say from the most hated to whatever. I'm going to start with the most beloved. Try to keep this on, sort of a happy note. Okay. Jamie Farr. He played Max Klinger. Come on. Who can't love Jamie Farr? He is without a doubt the most beloved and admired character in the series. The guy has cut-up comedy, quick wit, and incredible range. This showed him to be more than just a cartoon character. His quirky take on female fashion and a generally irreverent, humorously so, view of the Army sold him to most of us. Viewers love the fact that Corporal Max Klinger can be in a dress one day as he teases others and seek a Section 8, yet in the very next scene, he can be seen making sacrifices for his unit, putting his life on the line. So, from wearing a dress to wearing a helmet, there is no contest as to who is the most beloved by viewers, Jamie Farr. Let's go to number 2. Loved, beloved, a lot, not quite as much as Jamie, but we're talking Gary Burghoff, a.k.a. Radar O'Reilly. Now, it's impossible not to love or even want to adopt this guy. Radar takes you along with him as he grows from an innocent farm boy to a seasoned and mature soldier, all the while retaining this boyish innocence. Who doesn't love his ordering a grape knee-high, hold the straw, as he unwinds at Rosie's bar? This character demonstrates that he is the very glue of the 4077, and for his range of emotion and action, he's much beloved by viewers. Again, while he was a close second, not quite on the Maxwell Klinger line, he is still as cute as a button and much loved by viewers. Number 3, Harry Morgan, a.k.a. Colonel Potter. Potter shows incredible depth of character and allows you to know this horse-loving patriarch of the 4077, a veteran of 3 wars, a man just dripping with common sense. Colonel Potter literally drips with the simple charm of an older man who's been around the block. Sherman Potter is the guy you would most want as a commanding officer in any military situation. Viewers felt sort of a kinship with him. They looked at him as a father figure. Hence, he comes in a strong number 3 in the love parade. Let's go to number 4. McLean Stevenson, a.k.a. Henry Blake. His incompetence as a commander, but superiority as a friend and a surgeon, led people to respect him. As innately lovable as this character is, there's just not enough standout quality for viewers to do any more than like him a lot. Moving right along, number 5. Here I've got two people sharing number 5. That's Wayne Rogers and Mike Farrell. They pretty much fell into a tie. These are the guys who played Trapper John and BJ HUNNICUTT, okay? But they fell into a tie because they didn't really develop to any depth. The characters were never allowed to develop. And it seems their only purpose was to be foils, ricochets, targets for Hawkeye Pierce's quips, snide remarks, and odd behavior. Neither character managed to escape the shadow of Hawkeye. Neither Rogers nor Farrell ever resonated with the viewers. When shown pictures of both characters, most people couldn't tell which was Trapper John, which was BJ, or even think of their names. We'd show a picture and say, who's this? What's this character's name? A lot of them couldn't even tell you that. They said, Hawkeye's roommate. There you go. So innocuous were their characters that viewers saw them almost as non-entity, never really forming any opinion about them. Number 6, William Christopher, a.k.a. Father Francis Mulcahy. The character of Father Mulcahy never achieved any appreciable depth. Although great effort was exhibited by the writers to do this, it never really happened. He had so little exposure that he made only the slightest impression on those surveyed. And pretty much all viewers can remember that Father Mulcahy's voice struck them as sanctimonious and not in a good way. Father Mulcahy never resonated with viewers. They didn't hate him. They liked him, sort of. Number 7, Hot Lips Houlihan. Hot Lips was a whore. Plain and simple. She would sleep with anything with a body temperature of 98.6 if it could get her ahead in the game. Her continued dalliance with a married man, Major Burns, and her repeated attempts to have Pierce and his sidekick jailed or worse did nothing to endear her to the viewers. For the most part, viewers held her in no small amount of contempt as she continually went over the heads of her commanding officers, backed Major Burns in every possible legal assault on the tented comrades. Greedy and disloyal, she was indeed a contemptible Jezebel who never gained a following of viewers. They knew who she was, they recalled her name, and to a man they said, I don't like her. Number 8, David Ogden Stiers, a.k.a. Major Winchester. Winchester's stodgy, stuck-up, narcissistic Bostonian ways only managed to turn off viewers across the board. The only laughter he ever elicited was that laugh track that kept Alan Alda alive and well. This was not the kind of guy you'd want to marry into your family. His conceit, greed, horrible Yankee Boston accent, and general demeanor earned him disdain among most viewers, who found him to be little better than Frank Burns, who placed last in this survey. He was not particularly well liked, and virtually no viewers resonated with his character. Number 9, here's a surprise. Alan Alda, a.k.a. Captain Benjamin Franklin Pierce. With far too much laugh track to his every word, his character was that of an incredibly flawed individual. Think about it. Hawkeye's sanctimonious lecturing to us about the horrors of war, repeated phrases like meatball surgery, meant to suit any occasion. This grated on all of us. Hawkeye showed himself as a childish, self-centered, jealous, womanizing, quick-tempered, judgmental, and emotionally unstable drunk. Virtually no viewers surveyed even liked this character. Okay? These same viewers, they lamented his domination of the show and even came to the point of calling it the Alan Alda Show. So disliked was this character that many of those surveyed found themselves praying for some episode in which Hawkeye would either be court-martialed and sent to prison or killed in action. They said they just watched week after week hoping something would happen to get this sucker off camera. That's how they felt. Moving on to the most disliked, even more so than the character of Hawkeye, was Major Frank Burns. This is the only character more disliked and hated than Hawkeye. Burns was a man whore, repeatedly cheating on his wife. He was a coward, a hypocrite, a liar, a thief, a backbiter, and just plain not a good person. Nobody in our survey liked Major Burns. It's a fact that many of those surveyed were waiting for Frank Burns and Hot Lips to get busted, maybe court-martialed for conduct unbecoming of officers. Their disdain for this character was a very close second only to Hawkeye. Some of the surveyed actually waited for an episode where Frank would get killed. Didn't happen. Gee whiz, I guess he wasn't very well liked at all. Well, this was a survey of 500 MASH viewers aged 40 and up, and it brought the results printed here on the page and coming out of my mouth. It can be said that, while the show was a big hit for many years, it had a few areas that needed to be cleaned up for a long time. According to those surveyed, nearly all felt that less attention to Alan Alda and a little more to other members of the cast might well have brought even higher ratings and possibly an even longer run of this show. Alan Alda's father, Richard Alda, paved the way for him to enter the Hollywood scene without ever really paying his dues. Spoon-fed and coddled throughout his career, it led to the Alan Alda whose politics, morality, and other myriad character flaws breaking through the persona of Hawkeye Pierce. In fact, if you know Pierce, they say you know Alan Alda. I'm Max. That's the way I see it.